Yeah, so believe it or not, the sun does shine up Wiley Creek occasionally, and I was finishing off this little patch here on a beautiful day. It was really nice wood, and but of course there's always a downside. It was incredibly complicated. It was only like just over 6 acres, and in 2 little blocks, and one of the smaller block had 2 little creeks running through it, and so yeah, we got a variance, or the forest got a variance to work around the creeks, and I diced up that blowdown I was handling there early, just a second or two ago, and put it in. And so now I'm cutting, on this little island, separated by 2 little creeks. So one thing I wanted to talk about, this was really nice wood, and it was like max cut. A lot of it was max cut, had pretty good height, and I thought about this the other day because it's something that's really important, and again, thinking about somebody that's maybe, just getting started, or think about getting started running buncher. This is just something I just wanted to mention. And so in wood like this, the way to cut this is like, it's really important. I mean, a lot of this wood, really would be helpful to face it up just a hair, to make sure you take it off the stump. But if you're dialed in and you're comfortable with, like your teeth conditions, and you're pretty comfortable with the capacity of your head relative to what you're cutting. On these trees, wood like this, the thing to do is when you're cutting it, and you'll see it on a few of these, you cut through the tree, like right here. And you're closing down a little bit later so you don't pinch the saw, and the motion of the head is, and again here, so you see I'm kind of pushing that off the stump, and that doesn't look like a very big tree, but if I could cut those all day long, I would be right in heaven, and so would my bosses. If you stop, and the saw will probably stall, and in that case there's just a little sliver on the back, the far side of your stump, it's not severed, and the worst thing you can do is pull back on your head. It's really hard on your clamps and your cylinders and your linkages, but you're also going to slab your stem, and so when you're dialed in on your head, like I'm saying, your head and how your teeth are, you can cut through that last little bit, and then you might pull just a hair off the stump, rather than putting wear and tear on your machine and losing a little bit of fiber on the stem you're cutting. So that's just a really critical thing. When quite a while ago, like when I was, involved in kind of more of a management position with guys running buncher, I would see that a lot, and guys would blow cylinders up and, break clamps, and, by trying to pull it, they didn't sever it completely, then trying to pull it back towards the machine. It's just very hard on the machine. So you always want to be in a place where you can push it off the stump and, towards your bundle. So anyhow, I hope that makes sense and is helpful. Any questions, as always, I'd be happy to kind of explain more if you wanted to shoot me a question. So anyhow, on this piece here, what I did, I kind of tromped around on it after I got the other side cut, which was also complicated. That was like 4 acres, with like 3 lead changes. And so this piece here, what I'm doing, this is basically kind of like a little island. It's kind of a triangle, if you want to visualize it, between the 2 creeks. And so I jumped across on the close side and cut down along that reap rod. I had to throw it out in the reap rod because unless they wanted to furnish me with a helicopter, the trees had to go somewhere. And cut over to the other creek, and now I'm backing this island up to the top, where the two creeks, kind of forked off. And so then when I'm done, this creek I'm working across right now, there's this tiny little sliver, between this creek right in front of us, and it rises up real sharp to, I think it was was that the 300? I can't quite remember, 300 or the 400. So, which was active because they were hauling off the yarder. And so what I'll do is I'll leave a little space, cut this island off, leave a little space, go back down, and chunk up across and to get across this creek in front of us, and then work up getting everything that I possibly can up on that bank below the haul road and throwing it across the creek so the shovel won't have to cross that creek. Everything that I leave will be accessible from the road. So anyhow, that was the plan, and you know what they say about plans, that it's a good place to start from. But in this case, it worked out really well. The ground held up. I was able to get everything I wanted to, and there was some big wood in there that below the road or roadside that I left for the hand fallers, and but other than that, I got it all, and I put it in a good lead, and I felt really good about it. So yeah, it worked out great, and it was a hell of a nice day, no doubt about it. And wood like this, even with the complications, is such a pleasure to cut. I mean, every one of these trees, they don't look very big, and it's not like they're too big. They're just perfect, And every tree you're putting on the ground has 2 logs in it, and it was just in a short order. I was putting some serious volume on the ground. So. And I have to say, like working around these creeks, I try to go the extra mile, like throwing that stuff across the creek, so the shovel won't have to go across the creek. That's not a requirement, but it just makes good sense that water is a resource. We all depend on it, and it's important. And I respect it. I try to do everything I can to make sure that that we as a logging outfit do everything we can to protect it. And I think a lot of us do the same thing. Yeah, this is another green up area. So for those of you maybe back in the East Coast or in different parts of the world, that was an area left when they did some surrounding patch cuts and to provide residual trees. And here in Oregon, it's 4 years or 4 feet before a green up area can be cut. So 4 years or until the region's 4 feet tall. So there you go. I'm tossing them across the creeks. Working, scrambling around on this little sliver below the road, getting all I can. So yeah, I hope it all makes sense. If you got a question, shoot me a line. Always good to hear from you. So, as always, thanks for watching. Be safe.